What's up, my beautiful people? Aaron Thomas, excellence above talent. Man, yesterday I saw a post on Facebook about a young black man pretty much getting hunted and killed uh, by two white men. And I wasn't angry or frustrated. The feeling of disappointment is what I had yesterday. Disappointed that we are in 2020 and things like this are still happening, where someone who is different can't do normal things without getting shot, killed, messed with. Disappointed because there's a life that is now gone. There is a family that is now mourning, and the people who took the life are still out and about and living their lives, and that's disappointing to me. I've had my nephews for about 2 weeks now, and I took them to go play basketball yesterday. Or I dropped them off. I went to the store to pick up some stuff to cook dinner last night, and I was nervous to even leave them at the park, for that 30-minute span, because you just don't know. Someone sees little black kids at a park playing basketball, and in their head they see something totally different, and they feel like they have to protect themselves, and they go out there and they do something crazy. I'm just disappointed that we're not in a better place as a human race. And then I started to think about my biases and the things that I have thought of or that I have done in the past because of my ignorance to people. And I think it's only better to be transparent. I'm going to be open and vulnerable and tell you, give you my mindset on some of these things that I used to think about, and now looking back, how ignorant I was because I thought of these things. And so I'm gonna give you three instances where my ignorance could have caused hate. The first time was, the first thing was, I had been homophobic all my life. Something that you grew up with, something that you learned over time. And I'm also a Christian, so you hear certain things in church when you're younger, and you perceived that to be the truth, and you go living your life viewing people who are different as wrong. I mean, that's just the only word I can think of. Like, they're wrong for living the way they're living, and you're right for living the way you're living. And you create these stories in your head, and anytime you see them, you get angry, you get upset, you try to make a point, you try to let them know, like, you don't like them and what they're doing. And it was just out of pure ignorance. Because about 3 or 4 years ago, I started to question why I didn't like people who were gay. and I couldn't come up with any good reason, not one. Then I just realized, like, was this something that I never challenged, or I never questioned? And so for my most of my life, this was my pattern of thinking, and that's just what it was. It was my ignorance to learn about the differences in people, and to see them as human beings that are trying to live their best life, just like you. They're not different than you, but in your head you made them different. Another instances of me, my ignorance was all white men couldn't be trusted. And this just was this over time, hearing things from family members, seeing things with my own eyes. It created this animosity that I had towards white men, and it slowly started to be broken down. At the age of 16, I was at the Texas Workforce, and they had like a summer program for, I guess, vulnerable youth or at-risk youth. And Colin Sewell walked in, and he talked about how he wanted, us to do good in life, and to accomplish the things that we want to accomplish. And then he also offered us, jobs after, high school or college. And that was impactful because you felt that I felt that he meant what he was saying, which was like awkward. Like I cannot really trust this man, but in my heart is telling me I can. And then I go to Iraq, or I join the army and go to Iraq, and there are a lot of white men around me, and these white men are willing to die for me, and I'm willing to die for them. And again, I had to go within and ask myself, like, where was this learned from, or why was I thinking this way? And there were some negative things that happened in my life by trusting white men, but majority of the time, trusting white men didn't really hurt me. I was burned a few times, but I wasn't burned as much as I thought I was. And in my head, I blew it up to, 90% of the time you can't trust a white man. In all reality, it's 90% of the time I can trust, white men, and 10% you can't trust them. But I feel like that's with any race, with any culture, with any people. There's always that 5 to 10% that are just the bad apples. And the last one, which is more recently, was all Republicans are racist, all of them, and that's what I thought. Working with people, hearing what they had to say, and there were two people that kind of helped change my mindset, and one was Dustin Fawcett. We've had deep ass conversations, and again realizing that this person is different, but he's still human, and he still has feelings and emotions, and he still thinks, maybe not the way you think, but he still has a thought process. And having conversations with him kind of helped open up my eyes to the stupidity of me thinking that all Republicans are racist. And then talking to and dealing with Brooks Landgraf, realizing that, you know, he is a Republican, but he's doing what he feel like he should be doing for, you know, his community, his state, his region. And for me to hate someone because of their political stance is ignorant of me. And the more you learn about, you know, people who are different, the more you realize they're not really that different. There might be a few things that are like way different than how you think, but for majority of, I think, all humans, we all have like the same thought pattern and the same, you know, processes of wanting to live the best life we can possibly live. And it, to me, it's just frustrating because we all should be trying to find ways to open up, not be so ignorant to the fact that people are going to be different, and you shouldn't fear different. You should embrace it, because it's going to happen regardless. If you like it or don't like it, people are going to be different. People are going to not have the same upbringing or not think the same way you think, and that is totally fine. I'm so disappointed that we are still here in 2020. We're still fighting each other. Over what? I mean, I don't even know why we're fighting each other, but we're fighting each other. Black people are getting killed. And we're fighting each other, which is so frustrating because there's so many different things we should be fighting for together as a country. Like, there's still a war going on in Iraq and Afghanistan. There are still people dying for me and you in Iraq and Afghanistan. We have this pandemic that is going on. Families are getting destroyed. People are getting sick. We have young men running around with guns, trying to be gangster, shooting and killing people. There's just so much going on in this world, and we're still here. We are still here. People keep saying, I don't see, nothing can change. this is how it's always going to be. Man, I guess I'm foolish, or I'm ignorant to this fact that it doesn't always have to be this way. Like, my nephews shouldn't have to live in a world where even if they do everything to act accordingly to what society says this is what you should be, there is still a chance that someone can see the color of your skin, get angry, get afraid, pull out a gun and shoot you, and then claim self-defense. And nothing happens to the person that is doing the shooting. And the person who is shot is now dead. Family is suffering. And they'll never be the same again. I truly believe that there can be a change. That things can get better, and that things will get better. It's just going to have to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of maturity for people to cross the aisles and have conversations with someone who is different. Someone who doesn't view life the same as you view life. Doesn't make them your enemy. They're just different. And it's scary because I'm teaching my nephews to be different. I want to be different. But am I setting myself up for an early grave? Am I setting themselves up, my nephews up, for an early grave? Should I just play the part? Die a quiet life, not ruffling any feathers, calling people out, questioning why things are the way they are? Am I setting myself up for a early death? I had a hard time sleeping last night. Just thinking about all that stuff that's going on. But then I thought about the time that I was in Iraq, and people were different. We were all different. But there was one mission that we were trying to accomplish, and that was to get home safely and to protect the people to my left and my right, to my front and my back, by all means necessary. No one cared about politics or color or religion. We cared about living, staying alive. So I know there's a way that we could all come together and be better for our kids that are now growing up, for a society that we live in, there is a way. Just hope it doesn't have to be like a war or something crazy to happen for us to come together. But it kind of seems like that's what it is. It has to be something to where someone out from an outside force has to come in here and do a lot of hurt for people to realize like we are Americans and they hurt us, and we're going to stand and fight together. We should all stand and fight together to make this world a better place for the kids who are growing up in it. So, if anyone hasn't told you today that they love you, let me be the first to say I love you. You deserve the best. You deserve the best that life has to offer. You are not alone in this world, and you surely are enough. Y'all have a good day. Bye-bye.